You want to be seen as someone who gets the work done, who is there for learning, is hungry for learning, who obviously has a personality, has a character, who is great at soft skills. When you're making decisions, you need to think in a corporate setting. You need to think, what would the CEO do? What would the senior management do? That this is the feedback that I got. That people are not sure you're in HR, and then if you're approachable or not. And that's when I changed some things, because that wasn't my intent, and that's not how I am. So I started smiling more, just a bit of a smile, even while walking in office, just to be approachable. That's what we call jugaad in Pakistan. Like, what is the best way to get this done without a lot of hard work, or without a lot of hassle?
Hello, guys, and welcome again with another podcast. And I have my friend Umer Farooqi again here with us. We had previous two podcasts with him, where one we talked about how to find a job, how to get shortlisted for an interview. Then we had another podcast where we talked about how do you ace your interview. And in this podcast, we will talk about once you've aced your interview, you got hired, how do you have a great stellar career, which Umer has had. And talking about Umar, he is, for his day job, he is head of HR business partner for Food Panda Pakistan. And he's also an influencer on LinkedIn, on YouTube. I take a lot of inspiration from him with regards to career coaching, interview skills, getting job. He's also very philanthropic on both these channels. And as I said, I take a lot of inspiration for the work that I do on my LinkedIn, on my YouTube. A lot of learnings come from him, and that's why I thought, why not just bring him on the channel, and for me to learn from him as well, and all the audiences that I have on my channel, they can learn from him as well. So anyways, Umar, I'll pass it on to you, so if you can say a few words about yourself and your introduction, and then I will move into the questions I have for you.
Thank you so much, Beroz. You're kind enough for that introduction. Very excited to be connected with you specifically, because I've been seeing your work, and I know we have that alignment in terms of wavelength on what we want to do, what we want to achieve on LinkedIn or through our socials. That is to help people to add value to the community. So, just a basic introduction. I've been in the industry, HR industry, for around 9 years, and it has been in Pakistan. Have worked on different portfolios, different departments across top organizations in Pakistan, such as Engro, Food Panda, which is owned by Delivery Hero, based in Germany, and then previously K Electric as well. Graduated from LUMS in 2014, and my journey is defined by how I add value to the people around me, specifically because I've been working in HR. So specifically, it's around interviewing skills, job hunt, um, uh, personality build up, uh, image build up in the corporate world, and general philosophical touch as well, in terms of how to lead lives and how to manage crisis, especially because we live in Pakistan, which unfortunately or fortunately every day is a new crisis, which we have to handle. That's why we are resilient people. So that is a basic intro, and I'm sure the questions that you have, I'll be able to pass on some knowledge through my experience. So looking forward to it.
Umar, I must say one thing, and that is another thing which really impresses me. I know a lot of career coaches, myself as well. I claim myself as a career coach on LinkedIn, on YouTube. But there is an angle of monetization that we all are looking for, and I assume you have some of that as well. But you have a philanthropic angle to what you do as well. And I've messaged you before as well, which is I really admire that you just don't use your forum for doing what you claim to do, which is career coaching. But there is also philanthropy that you do through your LinkedIn, through your YouTube, which is just amazing. Like for me, yes, I donate money. Yes, I help people out here and there. But using such a big and important forum where you can just look into monetization alone, but using that for philanthropic work is just amazing. So once again, thank you for that. And I just wanted to call that out as well.
Thank you. And just to add to that, because since a lot of viewers will be watching this, so the idea is to help people around you, uh, किसी भी means के through. It doesn't matter if it's financial, if it's something else, if it's about giving a job to someone. Anyone who needs help, anyone who reaches out to you, you can be late in replying to those messages. But if you can contribute in the position that you are in right now, because that means that you're blessed. if you're able to help someone. So that is how, because LinkedIn, alhamdulillah, has been kind to me. I have a great followership over there. So utilizing that to help someone, trust me, even if you give a good advice to someone for 5 minutes, or you help someone build a good resume, or you help someone find ration for the month, or you help someone pay off their loans, or help someone get married, it changes their life. It might be a very small contribution from your end, and you don't have to contribute financially. You just have to post it, and people around you in your community will reach out to support. And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of Pakistan, especially because in this country, I've seen people go out of the way to help if they feel that there's a genuine need. So my message to everyone is, please, it's very easy, and please keep doing it. Just look around yourself. If you find even one person who needs help, start from your own house, the house helps that you have, the people around in your neighborhood, where you work, the people that whoever needs help over there, start helping them. Start funding their children's education, because their children fees is not that much. And that's how you start building community, and that's how people build kindness, and that's how we build a strong society. So yeah, thank you.
So, Umar, the first question I have for you is, let's say I am just starting on my career. I am in my early 20s. I just started my career, got a job. How do I have a stellar start in the career? Because I do firmly believe the the groundwork that you have, the initial years you have, really make a lot of difference for how your career will eventually span. Now, this may not be entirely true for everyone, but this generally helps. So, do I have those first couple of months or first year or so designed in a way where I just throw it out of the park?
Meroz, I think uh, this is one of the most talked about questions, and this is one of the best questions that we've discussed in the podcast series. Because I feel I've been through this. Obviously, you've also been through this, and I feel I wasn't educated properly on it, or I didn't know, I didn't have enough information, or wasn't coached properly. And I feel the young professionals or people who are entering the corporate world, they need to be well aware of it, on how to excel in their career. And I don't mean to say I've excelled or I've done great. It's just that I think I've done fine in terms of how the market works, and how I've been blessed with a career that I couldn't think of when I was graduating. So with that perspective, while I answer your question, if I join as a trainee, or if I join a new company and it's a start, I would recommend everyone, and what I would follow, just focus on learning. You don't know the department that you've gotten into, if you want to work on it in the future, if you want to work on it in the future. You are understanding, you're learning. There's a possibility that you like it, there's a possibility that you don't like it, you like some other department. That's why training programs are there. You get rotated, and then you explore what is the function of the corporate world that you like. First, we need to understand that. Secondly, once your focus is towards learning, and it might be controversial, but forget about work life balance, and I need to have my break, I need to have a weekend. You get your time, you do whatever you want to do, have your leisure time. But for me, you just need to get into any project that you can get, and you need to learn, and you need to showcase your talent. And within 1 year, you should have a vision that you must have completed at least 2 to 3 big projects for the company. If possible, lead it with obviously a senior manager who's leading it from the management side, but from a trainee perspective, lead it, and have some skill sets to show, if for another job or for this company. If you are seen as some, okay, so think from the perspective of a manager who wants to promote you, or who wants a top talent in the company. They want someone who gets the work done. You want to be seen as someone who gets the work done. I don't know if you've seen it, but in a recent interview, Obama said, he was asked the same thing. He said, what would you advise people? He said, just get the work done. Don't, whatever it is, whatever the noise is, obviously, ethically, if there's a big issue, have it sorted. But in my experience, there hasn't been something in the corporate world that can't be sorted. Obviously, you require stakeholder management. You want to mix people, you want to get CEO or management involved, but just get the work done. You want to be seen as someone who gets the work done, who is there for learning, is hungry for learning, who obviously has a personality, has a character, who is great at soft skills. You know how a lot of people ask, how do you decipher, how do you understand if a person is high potential when a fresh graduate is a high potential? You look at the behavioral questions, you look at the the soft skills of the person, and that's how you know, yeah, this person has leadership quality, this person is great at stakeholder management, the examples and the way the person is communicating, the thought process, the vision, this person is way ahead of his time. That's how you build your credibility. So you want to be seen as this person in early on in your career. And trust me, success, money, positions, career path, succession, you will be part of succession planning in the company. And Beros, there's no one else who can tell better about this than you, because mashallah, the career that you had at PNG, that speaks volumes of how, and I think we discussed in the podcast that we have earlier, how you focused on learning, on projects, how you got involved in meetings, you were hungry for learning, and how people used to perceive you as someone who can get the work done. That's a simple formula. No matter what degree you have, you can be a literature major in your bachelor's, but you can excel in HR. You can excel in supply chain. Finance obviously requires a different skill set, but if you give it 6 months or 12 months, you can learn a lot of things. But the point is, your approach, your attitude should be this: care, I need to learn, I need to get the work done, I need to have great teamwork, I need to be adaptable, I need to have great communication skills, I need to present well, I need to constantly learn, unlearn, relearn, and be seen as someone, and start thinking like a CEO. If you ever on a I was reading something the other day. I don't know how many. An average person makes 100, 200 decisions per day. I don't know if I'm quoting this stats right, but it was a high number. When you're making decisions, you need to think, in a corporate setting, you need to think, what would the CEO do? What would senior management do? You can have your ego, you can have your personal bias, but you take a decision that a CEO will take. You start thinking from that lens. And once you do that, no one can stop your career. And that's my advice to excel in your career. And obviously, Beros, you can add to it, because mashallah, the career that you've had, I'm inspired by it.
Thank you, Umar. This is lovely, and I fully subscribe to this. The first thing that you mentioned, which is be the person who gets the job done. It's about equity, right? Once you have that branding set for yourself, everyone knows. Like, even if I slack for a month or two, it is fine because I've developed that equity, and that equity is only possible to develop in the first year. If you slack in the first 3 months and say I'll do it, then it's gone, because now you've developed an equity of someone who's slacking. But imagine if you work hard 9 to 10 for the first year, now you've developed that equity. For the balance of the year, even if I work 9 to 4, it's still fine because I still carry on that equity. Again, there's a balance, and I'm just being very polar here, but I hope you get the point. And I like the thing you said, which is think like the CEO, which is so amazing, because in my career as well, at times I've developed, or I've gone places just because I was copying people. And what I mean by copying people is that individual. So different VPs, SVPs, CEOs, big guys who've made it big, how do they respond? What are the questions they ask? What are the kind of things they think of? And then I kind of help them. I kind of think the way they think, and then when a question comes to me, I kind of think, okay, this guy in my position would have done this, and hence I would do that. So brilliant! Thank you for adding that.
Thank you. And just one more thing, I just remembered. Oh, just try to help people around you, not in the corporate setting. So by helping, I mean your peers, obviously in your department, any skill set or anything that you can provide value in, you get to it. If anyone has any issue, for example, in working out an Excel formula, I'm just giving a very small example, help the person out. Your 5 minutes or 10 minutes of help, even to a colleague, trust me, that person will endorse you wherever the person can. You won't even know where will that person endorse you. That person can be a manager, that person can be sitting with the head of HR or the CEO or your department's head, and that person will endorse you that this person is helpful and this person's attitude is very nice. And just, I don't mean to say just start thinking from a transactional point of view everything that you do. What I'm trying to say is build that habit that you help people, go out of the way. Stop that mindset that this is my JD and this is not my JD. Obviously you have your KPIs, you have your OKRs, get done with it. But if you see any avenue where anyone is struggling, help the person. If not in the corporate setting but in personal setting, someday, somehow, that benefit and that good deed will come back to you and you would be surprised how it happened. And trust me, and I can give you from an example from my own life. People who reached out to me in 2014 15 for help when I wasn't even I was just starting my career, they helped me somehow in 2013 and 2012. And I couldn't even figure out that how the world turned around, how the things worked out, and how this person helped me. uh, and this happens regularly. Just have an honest mind and try to help people in the office and in personal life as well. And trust me, once how people say 360. So you need to see at a 360 lens your peers, your direct reports. In early career you don't have direct report, but your peers, people, your skip level, your line managers, um, what do they think of you? If they were in a room and they were asked, who is Umar, what do you think about Umar, how will they respond? Think along those lines, and naturally your behavior, your attitude, your way of working will change because your focus is very different. Yeah, just wanted to add that.
No, amazing, Umar, and you're right. Like it's karma, right? Everything eventually comes back in positive ways and negative ways, and you just have to. If you believe in that, you'll go places. So thanks for adding that, Umar. I do have one question which I struggle with, and here's me just being very selfish and seeking advice from you. And I don't know how good of an advice would you have or not, but let's test you out. There is an element of career growth where you have to network, because the way you talked about helping people, but there is also an element of building network with the people on the top, connecting with them, having coffee chats, just reaching out to them for help and stuff like that. I usually struggle with that. I'm an introvert. I find it very hard to just connect with randomly with people. And I say that because there are times I go like, if I'm working hard, my work will talk for itself, and I really don't need to build connections with people in different departments and all. What is your advice for someone like me who's an introvert, struggles with making those networks?
I feel you, Barrows, but it might not seem like, but I'm an introvert as well. I don't, if when I'm in a unless I know people, obviously, it's I can't connect. It's a difficulty, and I can feel you. And I also feel the same thing, that I should work hard and the work should speak for itself, which is also true. Eventually, that equity that you mentioned, you have to build that. But also realize that when you talk about network, you can't just be quiet and you can expect people to come to you and start building a conversation. So for me, how I've learned, how I've been coached, when I've taken help from people, I've just gotten this advice: just try to find common traits, anything common that you can see, and start a conversation from there. So if I hadn't met you through LinkedIn, and if I'd met you somewhere else, and if I'd seen you on LinkedIn, I would probably mention, I've seen your content and I think that's great. I've seen people communicate with me, starting with that, and the conversation has gone to at least 30-40 minutes, because it's not like I don't want to talk to them, and it's not like they don't want to talk to me. It's just that they took the first step, they built a connection, I felt safe. It's how my personality is. So I genuinely feel you. I also feel that you don't have to interact with everyone. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I don't feel like I need to interact with everyone. People I feel like talking to, I'll talk to them. Um, and that's how it should be. There shouldn't be so much pressure that I need to interact with everyone, but um, I should be approachable. It shouldn't seem like if I'm somewhere that let's not talk to Umar because we don't know how he will respond. And that has happened with me in my one of my previous organizations, that this is the feedback that I got, that people are not sure you're in HR and then if you're approachable or not. And that's when I changed some things, because that wasn't my intent, and that's not how I am. So I started smiling more, just bit of a smile even while walking in office, just to be approachable. Secondly, I started interacting with people. So I'm obviously, when you're working in HR, you interact with all the departments. So just building a conversation. How's the weather? Oh, I noticed something on your desk. How's that going? Oh, I just saw that you were in a meeting. How's that going? All good. Do you need any help? So, no, if I don't have anything to say, I just say, if you need any help, I'm always here. I just say that, just to build a good rapport, that this person is so nice. That's it. Otherwise, if in my company right now, there's senior management, we have summits, we have extended leadership over there. I find it hard to build a connection, but there's so many. If you start thinking about it, okay, what's the common thing? So there's one director who regularly gyms. He's very focused on fitness. There's another director who plays golf. There's another director who likes to go for shooting. And every time in my summit, I talk about that particular thing. Like, they would have ratified that Umar will come to me and we'll talk about this. But the interesting part is, every time we have a great conversation, because I'm talking about something that interests the person the most. And the, when if you ask me about just like you asked me about interview skills and LinkedIn, I got so excited, even though there was something probably most of it you already knew about, because you've been through that. So the best thing is, you see what questions, and you'll see the magic, because the other person also wants to talk. They're not in their home or they're in their bed, they're also there in the. So that's how I approach it. I can, being a person who is an introvert.
Omar, it's a great tip, and I use it. I realize I kind of use it as well, not just at workplace. When I am like at a friend's place, not friend's place, but at a gathering where I don't know many people, you kind of ask questions and make people talk about themselves, and suddenly when they start talking, they enjoy it because for instance, if we start today and you go like, "Oh, Beros, I've seen you on YouTube, such great videos. Can you tell me more about YouTube?" Man, I can talk for 5 hours about YouTube, and you all you have to do is just listen, and suddenly I'll feel like you're my best friend because you made me talk about myself and you gave me an ear to listen. And suddenly I feel like, wow, what a great guy. Even if I didn't ask you anything about you, it's just that you made me talk about myself.
And you make the other person talk. You ask questions,
Yeah,
questions about things that interests them. That 10-minute conversation is enough to build a good connection. That's it.
cool, cool. Completely agree. Okay, Umar, moving on. Second question, because we talked about the hard work. Now comes the time where I want to understand, where does smart work comes in. So how do you differentiate between smart hard work? How do you work smart versus just working hard? And I'm saying more now, let's say you're not in the first 2 years of your career, you're more in your early 30s. How do you balance between hard work and smart work now?
So, again, great question. Um, there's no substitute for hard work. I know, I'll talk about smart work, but driven person will always work hard. And by working hard, I mean the attitude is such that no matter what difficulty comes, if my vision is to complete something, my vision is to get this done, my vision is to, even in the personal life, if my vision is to make, for example, $1 million in 1 year, I will, my approach is this, and I will get it done. If my vision is to um, move abroad in 1 year, I will do this. If my vision is to buy this car, or if my vision is to learn golf and play professionally, I'll do this. So these are just examples from personal life. From professional life, if I have these projects and I have to do it, so there's no substitute for hard work, because in hard, even in your own business, so people who are watching this, who are entrepreneurs and who have their own business, you have to hard work 24/7. It's not like a corporate job that you switch off after 5 or 6 and you resume at 9 the next day. So there's no substitute for hard work. That's what I believe in. But when I'm given a task, if I have to do something, I won't go to it. I won't approach it how the textbook says it, or how conventionally people do it. I will first look at the task and I'll see how can I get it done from my own thinking. And people who are watching in US or Canada, that's what we call jugaad. in Pakistan. Like, what is the best way to get this done without a lot of hard work or without a lot of hassle? And why am I saying this? A lot of times you do. I can give a lot of examples, but what I'm trying from the philosophical point of view, there are a lot of things that are done in companies, in businesses, in personal lives that you follow a certain path and you say, "Yeah, I want to achieve this," and there comes a person. For example, you hire a consultant who tells you, "Okay, you approach it this way, and you'll save time, you'll save money, and you do this." They give you the smart work. They give you a way how to do it smartly, and you figure out, why didn't I do this before? So it's better whenever I give any work to my team member, or if my boss gives me some work, or if I'm doing, I have a small company that makes organic oils, and I sell it in Pakistan. It's a challenge every day to make it work. But whatever challenge I face, like, okay, what is the best and the shortest route that I can take? Even in my university, I used to do this, and I don't. People say, people frown upon it, that taking the shortest route, and I say that's the smartest way to do it, because you find the shortest way in which you add the most value. That also is the best for the company, and it's also best for you. And time is the biggest asset. You don't have to, but once you set that path, that smartest route, then you work the hardest to get that done, is what I mean by hard work. And smart work, I mean the smartest approach to get it done. That's how I differentiate it.
Cool, Umar.
If
This is
that
so
makes
good.
sense.
It made sense, and you put it in a very good way of mix of hard work and smart work, which is just not one or the other. It's how you combine the two. And talking about finding the smartest way, I think Bill Gates said it somewhere, which is, I would rather hire a lazy person because he'll find the quickest way or laziest way of doing something, that any task that is given. And talking about Jugaad, by the way, I'll just spend a minute on it. I talk to people here in Canada and US. I tell them there is this terminology called Jugaad in the Indians and the subcontinents and Pakistanis. And by the way, it's also in the Microsoft official corporate dictionary. They have this word Jugaad, and it's because they
All
have a lot of people from subcontinent working in Microsoft. And I tell them there is this, and I'll say it in Urdu because I don't know if there is a better word in English, which is the kafiyat you get when you use the word jugaad. Like if you're sitting in a meeting and if I tell Umar, can you get this done? There is a different way you will think. But suddenly if I tell you, Umar, can you find a jugaad for this? And suddenly your mind will expand. And I tell them, as in, there is just magic in that word. When you tell someone find a jugaad, again, it has to be because usually people think it's an illegal way of doing things. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about expanding your mind of thinking ways or smarter ways of doing it. So I completely agree, and I really love that word. And I say them, these are one of the things I miss here, which is, if I tell you guys jugaad, you won't have that feeling come in you, the feeling that Desi would get if I tell them this or use this word.
Yeah, and also to add from a very traditional point of view, at workplace, um, a lot of people, they don't prioritize their work, they don't prioritize their tasks, and they work very hard, 12, 13 hours a day, because they're poor in time management, they're poor in stress management, they're poor in scheduling. Sometimes what happens is they're working on tasks that are not urgent, and they miss out on tasks that are actually urgent, has to be submitted the next day. So what they do is they're actually putting a lot of hard work, they're giving 15 hours, but they don't understand that they have to prioritize work. They need to see what exactly is required, and the stuff that they are going through. You must have heard that paralysis by analysis. So they're spending time and time and time. If this is required, then go for it, right? What is the end product, what is the end result that is required? So as a CFO, what does Beros require from me? Has Beros asked me to make a new model and present something innovative, or has Beros asked me to just simply give me a financial model of this? So why am I spending time on this? While this is important, the analysis, but this is not important tomorrow. So my hard work will go to waste. The smart work will be just first get what Beros is asked, and then if I want to go out of the way and plug in something new and find something innovative, I have time. This is very simple if it sounds like this, but actually people are caught up with this. They don't manage their time properly. There are a lot of people in my office. I tell people, especially my team members, if you wake up whatever time of the day, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you don't have your schedule planned for the day, you have missed out on the day. Because one night before, you need to have a clear plan of what you want to do. They're so bad at time. Some people are so bad at time management, and that's where they keep working hard. Actually, the best part is they'll spend 12 hours a day in office, but they're so bad at time management that they're not the smartest people in terms of in terms of managing their tasks. And that's where the debate comes. Okay, I'm working so hard, so why is this happening to me? Why is my work not getting done? Why am I spending so much time? Where is my work life balance? And that's where jugaad also comes in, because you need to be very smart about what is required, what you need to do, what is expected. Jugaad also means that it's again, it's a very beautiful word, because you have to be very careful about where you are required, where your presence is required, at what time do you want to meet people, and have your, the optics. How do you show the optics? Sometimes you don't even need to present, you just need to be there, and you have to mention one point, and your work is done, and you're highlighted the most at the end of the presentation. So that's that concept of jugaad, in real terms, the smart work. That is also something that people need to understand. Be good at time management, and be very smart about what you want to do and how you want to divide your time. Not everyone should have urgent access to you all the time. Be very sure about what is required, what time. Be smart about your time.
Thank you, Umar. And I'll wrap up this session or this podcast with a book recommendation. I'm not sure if you've read it. If not, I highly recommend for you and for the listeners as well. It's Essentialism, the Discipline. I have it in front of me. Essentialism, the Disciplined Pursuit of Less. It's by Greg McKeown, and he talks about how less is more, which is how you do less but still deliver more, and exactly the things you talked about: prioritizing, focusing on what is important. This is what smart work. And once you prioritize, then you go all in, you go just hard work on it. But instead of working on 10 things, you work on one thing, which is the most priority, and then you give it all your best. Anyways, Umar, thank you for joining. Thanks for your time. It's been a wonderful session. I learned a lot. One last question I have for you is, where can people find you and reach out to you?
On LinkedIn, they can message me. I normally respond immediately, but if I am not able to, then I try to message back on Sundays.
Cool. Thank you, Umar. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Beros.